I am Samara Michelle. I am your small business and nonprofit strategist. And I'm really excited to be on today. I'm ready to talk to you guys about some money. I like to talk about money. So I definitely am happy to be on and talking to you guys. And so we're going to jump right in. I am going to talk today about how your business can be profitable right away. And one of the things about this topic is I have learned over the years that money is one of those things that everybody is like, I love to talk about money, and I want to make money in my business, and kind of publicly we want to talk about it, but for real, people don't really want to talk about money. They don't want to get down, the down and dirty about what it takes to keep your finances in order, what you need to do, um, what needs to happen. And so I want to talk to you guys about that. And I want to talk to you about dispelling the myth that you have to wait to make money in your business. Often you hear these statistics that you shouldn't expect to make a profit for 3 years. And I don't know if that's the old way of doing business, or if that's the way that you know years ago, or even if that's what the expectation is of people. But I want us to expect more. I want us to start our businesses financially sound and make sure we do the things that we need to do in the beginning so that we can make money, and we can make money pretty immediately. And so I'm going to talk about that today. So you don't have to wait to profit in your business, and you can begin to profit as soon as you get started. And the first step to that, my suggestion, is goals. And I want you to think about setting your goals around money and deciding how much money you want to make. There's no way for you to profit or to make any money if you don't have a number in mind. You can't really reach something that you don't have an idea of what it is, and it becomes unattainable just because it doesn't exist. So if you want to make $1,000 extra a month, shoot that as your goal. If you want to make $10,000 extra a month, put that as your goal. But you need to start with a goal. You need to start with an idea of what you want to profit and when you want to profit it, in order for you to actually do it. And for all my nonprofit people, you guys can look at my video when I talk about for-profit versus nonprofit. But profit is for you guys too. In order to run any kind of business, you have to make money. You have to be in the black. The expenses need to be less than the money that's coming in, no matter if it's a for-profit or a nonprofit business. So I'm talking to everybody when I'm talking about profit. And then for all of my entrepreneurs, my solopreneurs, this involves you getting paid as well. So not just the profit of the business, but you also should have a salary or an amount of money that you are making monthly from your business. And so those goals have to be set in order for you to actually get them done. You can't get anything done if you don't set a goal. You can't pick your kids up from school if you don't plan to go pick them up from school. So it's the same thing. You want to make sure that you have an idea of how much money you want to make in order to get there. Um, so number one is goal. The second thing is your mindset. So your mindset has to change around money in order for you to make money. You have to believe that you can make money. And I know that it sounds kind of whimsical, but really your attitude towards it has a lot to do with it. Because if you don't believe that you're going to make the money, then your actions kind of go in line with your beliefs. That's number one. And then number two, you are not your customer. So just because you feel like, oh, I wouldn't pay for this or I wouldn't pay for that, that doesn't mean that there's not a market for it. And so, make sure that your issues with money or your feelings about money do not play a part in you making money. You can be profitable. Everybody can be profitable. It's really simple. You make sure that you make more money than you spend. It's the same thing as when your personal finances, when you pay your bills at the end of the month. You need to make sure that you make more money than your bills. And that's how you profit. And so if you start your business that way, then you know that your business will continue to be that way from the beginning. So that's why I say you can profit immediately. You can make sure that you are profiting from day one, depending on what your business model is. And even if you have a business like a restaurant that has heavy overhead in the beginning or equipment, that doesn't mean you have to go into it totally in debt. You can save for that. You can make sure that you have a startup plan, and you can become profitable pretty quick in that arena as well. So your mindset is the second thing. Now the third thing I'm going to spend a little bit of time on, and that's being financially organized. So one of the critical things about being in business is making sure that you have your money stuff in order. And when I say money stuff, I'm talking about your expenses, what are you spending money on every month? If you're not aware of what you're spending money on, then that's going to be an issue for you. So, or how much money you're bringing in, or how much money you plan to bring in. A lot of people ask me about pricing, and pricing isn't just made up. It's a mixture of what the market can bear for your product or your service. And what that means is there a market for it? Is everybody charging $50 for this workshop and you're trying to charge $300 for the workshop? So you have to make sure that your pricing is in line with the market, but it also has to be in line with your expenses and the things that you have. So you can't charge $50 because everybody else is charging $50, but your rent for the facility is $1,000. Well, how many customers do you have to have in that workshop before you make money? So you have to make decisions and be aware of what's happening in order for those things to happen properly. So having a budget, number one, believe it or not, and whether you guys want to say it or not, I know a lot of small business owners do not have a real budget. It's not written. You can get an Excel spreadsheet and get a template and start your budget. You can literally take a sheet of paper and write down what your expenses are, and then understand what you need to make and how much you need to make. So you have to make sure that you not only have your budget written down, but then you have to watch it, and you have to be aware of it. And you guys will hear me talk about Money Mondays or Finance Fridays, and that means that you got to check those numbers every week. You have to make sure that things are going right, because you might have to make a decision about it. And the other part of your financial stuff is understanding your insurance, understanding your taxes. And if you don't understand those things, get help. Get help, because it is critical when you are starting a business. I know that often you don't have a lot of money. I started a business from the ground up. I didn't have a lot of money, and I fell into I don't want to pay a bookkeeper, I don't want to pay an accountant, or I don't have the money to do it. But the honest part is you don't have the money not to do it. You have to get somebody involved that can help you early on, so that you don't make high money mistakes. And so getting those financial systems in place they're going to help you. Those things are going to be detrimental to your business and your profit at the end of that year. If you have things set up I use QuickBooks, but there's other programs, FreshBooks. You can even use Excel. You don't even have to have a program, but have a system of how you're keeping your money stuff, and that's going to help you to profit. So having your financial stuff in order is it's going to take you to the next level. And then working that plan, making sure that you have your goals and you have the things set that's going to make you money, and you actually do the things that you say you're going to do in order to make the money. it's not fair to yourself to not do the money making tasks and then say, oh, I didn't make any money or this failed or whatever. Well, you didn't do what you said you were going to do. You didn't go on social media every day like you knew you were supposed to, or you didn't go pass out those flyers like you knew you were supposed to. And and then you say that your business failed. It's not fair to you. You have to make sure you work that plan so that you can make the money that your business is supposed to make, because we don't go into business by mistake. We have a passion and we have things that we want to get done, and we have to make sure that we set our mind on the money and we get those things done. And if we have those goals in place, if we change our mindset, if we get financially organized and we work our plan, you will profit. Now, I'm going to suggest to you guys a book called Profit First. So I'm going to reveal about myself. My first 10 years of business, I wasn't really paying myself. And I'm not saying that I didn't get paid in 10 years. I made money off my business in 10 years, but I didn't have a normal amount that I paid myself. It wasn't a salary. It wasn't a standard commission. It was just kind of like if there was some money, I would get that money. And I paid teachers and I had programs and I had staff, and lots of people got paid and there was money coming into the business and it was profitable, but I didn't get paid first. And that causes just confusion and anguish and stress, and you're trying to have a job to pay for the business. And so I suggest a book called Profit First. Um, he talks about he just talks about getting your money first and making sure as an owner you pay yourself first. And I definitely suggest that to you guys. I definitely I go by it, and so I just I don't get any perks for suggesting this book, but I thought it was a good book, so that is a good tidbit. And so, as I promised, I want to talk a little bit about grants on this video because there's a lot of money out there and we're trying to get it. And I want you guys to understand that there are grant applications, there are small business applications, there is money for you there's money for you to access. And if you don't know how to do it, then now is the time to understand and to get involved. I do offer a free grant workshop. All of my workshops are available at samaramichelle.com. But you can get some general grant information from that workshop. You can also gather your documents and read the guidelines to these grants. If you don't understand some of the questions, then Google the questions, because often that information is on the grants and the guidelines. Don't let intimidation or not understanding something stop you from accessing the small business money that is out there. It's there, and we have our paperwork and things in order for us to access the money. So there are a lot of grants out there, and there are lots of things that you can access. And so what you need for those grants is to make sure that you have your LLC, or you have your incorporation, or you are a sole proprietorship, and that means that you are getting business income and you are putting that on your taxes. And so I'm not a tax professional, but if you're getting business income, you are supposed to be reporting it. And many of the grants are going to ask you for that information, so you can gather that in order to get the grants. You also have to have a description of what you're doing, and you have to have an idea of how much money you made last year. And so a lot of times we don't have this stuff gathered, or our tax professional did it last year and we don't have a copy of it. So in order to access these grants and this money, you guys have to gather that stuff together and kind of get it together and get organized. So that's a tidbit and a bit of help. You guys can always access me at samaramichelle.com. And of course, ask questions on Facebook and in the Small Business Strategy group. I do have two workshops coming up. They're actually boot camps coming up. I have a grant writing boot camp where we get together all the long version of your grants and your organization, and we talk about your mission and your vision, and for a for-profit, that's your about us and your history, and we do a budget in that workshop so that you can get those things in order and you can really understand those things for your business. That is starting on the 16th, and then I have a 30-day launch workshop that is coming up that is going to give you guys a launch into your business. And so in 30 days, we work on a bunch of different stuff, and we have work sessions on personal brands. We have workshops on, we have a workshop on social media and how social media increases your sales. We have a workshop on sales itself, how you price and how you get to your profit. We also have a workshop on streamlined strategic planning, which we plan out your entire year and get that to a place where it's workable so you can work that plan. We do, I do exclusive group mentoring. So we have our own group that we work through, and we have weekly accountability so we can check off our tasks and make sure we're getting things done. And so that's on my website. And right now it's $159 for the 30-day launch, which is a small investment for you to launch your business in 30 days. It's designed so that you can get started. As a bonus, I do a quick start setup where I help you with your LLC and get that done. And so it kind of fast tracks you to your business revenue. So if you want some help getting the stuff done, and you know that you want to meet with some colleagues and you want to have some mentorship, and you really want to get it done in a timely fashion, I definitely suggest the 30-day workshop for you. And the 30-day boot camp for you. And all of these things can be accessed at samaramichelle.com. I'm going to put the link in the comments, and make sure you ask me questions. Even if you come in on the replay, make sure you ask questions. If you want to take part in the either the boot camp or the either boot camp, the 30-day boot camp, or the grant writing boot camp, you can message me on my website on samaramichelle.com, and we can set up a strategy session. I want to make sure you guys get your questions answered so you can get in the boot camps and you can get started. And they are both appropriate for-profit, nonprofit, side hustlers, independent contractors, solopreneurs. I work with everybody, and I make sure that you get your businesses started on time. So definitely think about that, and make sure that you are getting those finances organized, that you are setting your goals, that you are working on your mindset, and make sure you kind of talk to yourself and make sure that you have money on your mind and you're not talking yourself out of your money, and you get a system to track that money so you can keep that awareness up and just keep working the plan. Part of the plan is getting help, and I can provide some of that help. But if you're not going to work with me, I encourage you to make sure that you get support somewhere. But of course, you can work with me, and my clients will tell you all the time that I'm going to have you getting it done, and I'm going to have you getting it done quick. And so drop a comment and say you watched the video, and say you were with me live, and I enjoy being with you guys. And please hit me up if you have questions. And I hope this video was helpful. And if it was, make sure you drop a comment or you tag and invite your friends to watch the video, and invite your friends to the Small Business Strategy group. And I will just see you. Bye. Have a happy day.